Thank you, Bob Moses, for that quote down there. There's a herd of elephants in this room. Actually, I think that's probably bad news. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. But there are a lot of challenges regarding this transition to the Common Core. And as a district person, I worry a lot about them. I'm right here in the room and no one even acknowledges me. But we're going to talk about the challenges and eventually we'll get the solutions. But what I want to do is I want to talk about sort of where we are and why we're here right now. So in terms of our national data, we've heard the 25th thing for going on 3 years now. And whether you believe it or not, I'm beginning to think that one of the root causes is coverage. We're all about coverage, mile wide, inch deep, whereas leading countries are about what? Depth. Okay, so that blows me away right there. Our best and brightest going to college, of those, 40% of those students must take remedial courses where they're paying for non-credit bearing courses. Of course, USA Today in 2006 said 4 in 10 citizens hate math in America. So that's a challenge. Where you live really is important, okay? Bill Schmidt said that what school within that district you go to, even what classroom you're given, and what it really comes down to is the teacher that you're assigned makes a huge difference. And so that's a big concern and a big challenge we have to deal with. And then there's the myth of the math gene that our public believes in, but of course we don't believe in the myth of the reading gene, right? How do we move from every student can learn to every student will learn? And what we know about almost all the research out there is that great teachers make the difference, okay? I worry about the fact that this is the biggest math reform in the history of U.S. education. I worry that teachers really have been teaching procedurally, and the Common Core requires that balance. And I worry about the funds and time, okay, that really don't exist right now for us to do this. We've been building networks within states for a long, long time. And the key here, folks, is that we've been doing that in silos. And I think it's time to tip the silos and turn them into a pipeline and do it across states, not just within states. Meanwhile, social networks over the last several years and digital resources have been growing and developing and been used to even topple governments as recent as last summer. And we can thank South Con, like Corey said, for bringing attention to mathematics and bringing 6 million visitors to his very procedural examples right here. Okay? We do need procedures, but we also need understanding behind that. I think SouthCon is probably locked up 25th in the world. I think we have that locked because that's the kind of teaching that's going on at best of many schools. And this is where I take a breath here. So let's talk about solutions. And we call this the Core Challenge, and there is a sort of a beta version of a website. If you have a smartphone, you can get it if you're sitting like right here, and that's it. Here. Let's talk about it. What if we built an active sharing learning community composed of a group of us like this? Well, we actually did this in Maryland, and we did it with a small group of people, and we asked them for their one really good idea related to maybe a conceptual learning object that would help illuminate some of the Common Core state standards, that would hopefully deepen teacher and student understanding in a just-in-time teacher development way, using maybe a 5 to 8 minute sort of video clip. Maybe we could call it the Conceptual Academy, right? Beyond measuring the impact, wouldn't it be cool, like Corey said, if we asked kids to contribute to that community? What if we asked them to tell us, what are the problems that you'd like to solve in the mathematics classroom? Contribute that to the community. Can you imagine how big that community would be? And what if we asked people to develop resources that focused on reasoning and sense-making, that focused on clarifying common student understandings and potential student errors with suggestions for addressing those misunderstandings? What if we focused on making connections between the mathematical content and the mathematical practices, and thereby deepening student and teacher understanding by expanding on math ideas and addressing questions like Steve Lyman says, why does this work? What does this mean? What does this mean within the context of this problem? Who uses these concepts outside of the mathematics classroom, and for what purpose? Here's an example, one I mocked up. It took me about 10 minutes, okay? Very mathematical. I connected to the practices. I had a real-world problem, 1/3 of 24, 2 dozen eggs. I talked about language in here. I had multiple representations. And here's a prototype of what this could look like when it's finished, when it's uploaded to the community. And the best thing about this is it's user-created, and by the way, teachers prefer teacher-created materials at a rate of about 3 to 1 commercial materials, but it's also user-rated. You can see right there. This innovation could transform math education in the math community. This innovation could certainly put us at the front line as a leader in math education. And most importantly, this could provide access to world-class resources for every student and their parents or guardians regardless of cost. Let's see ourselves as a professional community. Let's take collective responsibility for math teaching at all levels. Let's demand that we decide what qualifies as appropriate professional education and development. Let's demand high standards for entry into our community. Thank you.